Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm BlockReview and this is Building Blocks, a series on Roblox game design. At one point, you've probably been placed in one of these waiting rooms, or more commonly known as a lobby. I don't mean lobbies where you're waiting for the game to find players or a hub where players hang out to select levels. I mean lobbies where a game's match or round is being taken place and you're told to wait in a separate room till the next round begins. Sort of like a physical intermission section. So in today's video, I want to ask, what makes a good lobby? Design is a good way to start off. Obviously, you want a lobby that looks great. So maybe a better question is, how do we make a lobby that will keep players anticipated for the match to start? How do we design a lobby that won't make new players leave when they enter? And how do we define our game through what is essentially a waiting room? Lobbies are a good way for offering players an area to wander and move away from the game as you build up your anticipation to enter. But sometimes this may end up boring the player, which may replace that long-awaited anticipation with impatience. So maybe we can find a wrapper on the whole thing that'll give players the freedom to move around while also maintaining that anticipation of getting in the game. So what if we treat the play area as a visual magnet? BlockReview Minigames has a set of small, round-based games as the main center of attention. Because of this, you can roam around the map without ever losing sight of what's happening and what you're about to be a part of. You're given the freedom to move around the map without being forced to sit and stare, but the design of the map will always end up drawing the player's attention to the map itself. You can jump up and down a trampoline while also having a clear view of the game next to you. This design is perfect because you're giving players the freedom to explore your lobby, but also having their eyes appeal to the most important thing in the area, the game itself. Nothing in the lobby should be more important than the player's anticipation or hype from entering the game. This is an extra plus for games that are just fun to look at and really stick out from the lobby. Like honestly, how do you ignore that? While there are a ton of games that have used this lobby design, a lot of them will have activities that are away from spectate view. This especially seems to be the case with Dungeon Master, which has open signs in the far back, which I will obviously walk towards to check out, and an underground pet trading area where you can't actually see what's going on in the game. So while BlockReview Minigames looks like this, with the player's attention drawn this way, Dungeon Master is designed like this. But maybe your play area is far too big to wrap your lobby around. Having a central play area may actually spoil the horror experience of Stop It Slender too. And games like Murder Mystery may be fun to play, but not fun to watch. There's no point in having a visual magnet if players will gain little anticipation watching it. That being said, no lobby is more boring than Flee the Facility by AW Apps, in my opinion, at least. A game that can last at least 15 minutes and has only 2 locations that you can walk to and from. There's an Easter egg and a small obby, but these are short-lasting experiences. This can lead to boredom, and of course impatience, which may have players leave before they even get a chance to try the game out. Unless your rounds are short, like Epic Minigames by typical type, then you won't have much of a problem using this method. Since rounds can last about 60 seconds, players entering the game will be greeted by a map for you to explore. But exploring the whole thing, or even half of it, will take you a bit longer than 60 seconds. This makes it nearly impossible for a player to spawn in during a match and explore the whole lobby without getting teleported to the game. If they so happen to wander around trying to figure out what's happening, the game will basically just teleport them while they're being stalled, which is perfect for players who may enter your game not knowing how to get in. So yes, the lobby is stalling. It's distracting you long enough till you finally get to play the game, which again is easy for a game like Epic Minigames. But a game like Roblox Death Run has matches that can be 3 minutes long, so the lobby has to be massive. And it is. Death Run's lobby is filled with fishing activities, a spleef area where you can play against others, a sweeper, and these closed doors that you can lock by... well, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. So in the game Flood Escape 2 by Crazy Blocks, they added a small pool of water to the lobby. Going into the water will have you start a swim animation for your character. You can swim down with the shift key and rise up with spacebar. And I thought this was pretty cool since the swimming mechanic is used in the actual game. And it basically gives the player time to play with the game's core mechanics. What I'm saying is the lobby can also serve as a preparation room. Not to be confused for a training room, but an area to test your weapon. More like an area where the mechanics are just present and exist. But this also gives the player an idea of what to expect when they get into the game. This is why I think Flee the Facility is allowed to have crouching and low jump power in their lobby, because well, that's how the game will actually feel when you get in. It also helps players figure out the mechanics for themselves by having the time to try it out in a non-competitive environment. In fact, I wish this was done on release day for the game Flight by Interforce. Flight is a game where you fly paper airplanes, but when I finally got to play it, I didn't understand what was happening with my camera, I wasn't used to the plane movements, and apparently you could shoot in your planes. Me and other players had no idea this was a thing during Deathmatch, and figured it out a little too late. Team Interforce is coming out with a practice area in the lobby sometime in the future, but personally I think a button to enter the plane throw animation would work way better. I mean, you already got an amazing map to fly around. If your game has no added mechanics, don't think you're off the hook. A game can still have thoughtful designs in their lobby that can show off the playstyle. Blox Adventure by the Blox guys will have platforms around the majority of their lobby, because the game itself is an obby game. Since the game is mainly about jumping platform to platform, this lobby encourages the player to move around the lobby by jumping around. This system alone will make the player understand how the game is played before actually getting into the game. And Blox Adventures isn't a game with a lobby that requires you to wait for a game, so maybe I'm just cheating at this point. So let's look at Speed Race by Master Daniel. In the Speed Race game, you run at sonic speed jumping to platforms from great distances. However, in the Speed Race lobby, you move like a human-sized snail. The transition between the game and the lobby is just so weird to me. It's very obvious Speed Race will increase your speed, I mean, it's in the name, but there's something about going to this, and then to this, that makes the lobby feel like it was made for a different game. Super Blocky Ball by Maelstronomer is a game that has you racing against other players in a giant ball. So, the game has the player in ball forms at all times. Yes, especially in the lobby. And much like Flood Escape 2, they have one of their in-game mechanics, the speed pad. Stepping on this pad will give you a burst of speed and will be helpful information when entering the game and racing against other players. The game also has an eggshell playpen and this sonic loop, which complements the game's pinball movement perfectly. If Nintendo's Super Mario Odyssey game had a Roblox lobby, it would be New Dawn City, which is this big open playground that complements Mario's awesome moveset in a safe, non-competitive, harmless environment with big buildings to jump on, cars to bounce off of, and poles to swing on. And I think this is basically what a lobby should be. Having a lobby that complements a game's mechanics provides the player with a visual image of possibilities. And it's good to have your players play around with the game controls, mechanics, and even default player movement, because it'll make your players less confused when they get in the game, more informed on how to play, and have a smooth transition from lobby to the game. A lobby can be a lot of things. In fact, it can simply be an area where you wait, and that's fine, I guess. But I think a lobby that is properly designed to get the player's attention without player numbers dropping is just far better. Whether you do that with a lobby where the game is fun to watch, a lobby with a map to explore and get lost in, a lobby with a bunch of activities, or, my most preferable, a lobby that shows off its mechanics and has a map design to complement those mechanics. If you can find lobby designs to keep players engaged, then I think your lobby is just fantastic. With that said, the Roblox lobby will always have a special place for the Roblox platform.